Okay, so everybody's here about this minute, so I'm going to give everybody time. I do not know what happened. I will have to repeat this, I'm sure, whenever somebody comes in. But my electricity blipped, and everything went poof. So I don't know what happened. Other than just poof, gone. Electricity said no more. I paid my bill. In fact, it's automatically paid. So I'll give everyone a couple minutes to come back. And I guess I'll just sit here and run my mouth until maybe somebody comes back. I don't know. If not, I'll just continue and then y'all can watch the replay because I don't know what else to do right now. So, whenever you're here, say here. Nobody can even hear me if I'm saying that. If they're not here. That's ridiculous. I feel a little bit ridiculous. What happened? Well, I don't know. My electricity went poop, and I was gone. I don't know what happened, but the electricity just quit for a second. It was just like, and it was gone. And then I'm back. Like the electricity came right back on, but it was off long enough to just like totally kill all the, had to restart computer and all that stuff and set everything back up. So this is going to be broken in half, almost exactly in half. But yeah, it was just a little electrical blip, and yeah, probably a power surge. That has never happened before, but I don't know. I'm back though. I think y'all are talking to me, so I gotta be. But yeah, I don't know. Other than that, it just kind of, there's no storm. It's a sunny day. At least it was. Yep, it still is. Ooh, that made me dizzy. I shouldn't have done that. It might have made y'all dizzy too. I don't know why I didn't just move the curtain over here and look. I can't hardly see anyways. If you just knew how it was all set up, you'd understand. Now I can't put the ruler back. This is in trouble. Anyway, let's see if I can get my thought process back to where it was. And I don't remember where I stopped. Carol, you always remember. Where did I stop at? Which verse did I stop on? Was it on verse 3? Because I was talking about... Nope, it was verse 4. Nope, 5. 5 is where I quit. Because I talked about the nations. And I talked about how that all the different countries have different governments. I was confused for a minute. Yeah, I turned that light back on because I had to be able to see things. Because usually I have that light off when I'm doing this because the camera seems to work better. But then again, I don't know. The camera may be just crazy. But we're going to go on to verse 6. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, "Give us a king to judge us." So Samuel prayed to the Lord, and the Lord said to Samuel, "Heed the voice of the people in all that they say to you. For they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them." You know how sometimes whenever somebody is doing something that it feels like it's against you, sometimes it's not. Maybe they don't like the God in you. Maybe, well, not saying that you're a God, but maybe they don't like that you follow God, that you worship God. I'm not saying we're gods, but what I'm saying is maybe they don't like that thing about you that makes you you, not you yourself. Does that make sense? I don't even know if that makes sense. But what God is saying is they're not rejecting Samuel. They're not rejecting his leadership. They're rejecting God's leadership. They're rejecting God's plan because that's what they were doing. According to all the works which they have done since the day I brought them up out of Egypt, even to this day, with which they have forsaken me and served other gods, so they are doing to you also. Now, therefore, heed their voice. However, you shall solemnly forewarn them and show them the behavior of the king who will reign over them. So he's telling the people, he's telling Samuel, tell them what's going to happen whenever they get their king. They want this king. I'm going to give it to them. You're going to tell them how bad it's going to actually be. And when I was reading this, I was thinking, why would they still want this king? But I'm going to go ahead and read it to y'all, and I'm pretty sure y'all read it before, but let's go on to verse 10. So Samuel told all the words of the Lord to the people who asked him for a king. And he said, this will be the behavior of the king who will reign over you. And I might stop in these things. He will take your sons and appoint them for his own chariots and be his horsemen, and some will run before his chariots. Now, that means that he's going to take their children, and they're going to be like, from what I understand, that was going to be like the king's armies, not God's army. Because whenever you're in God's army, you have leadership that nothing can stop. He will appoint captains over his thousands and captains over his 50s, will set some to plow his ground and reap his harvest, and some to make his weapons of war and equipment for his chariots. He will take your daughters to be perfumers, cooks, and bakers. He will take the best of your fields, your vineyards, and your olive groves, and give them to his servants. He will take 1/10 of your grain and your vintage and give it to the officers and servants. And he will take your male servants and your female servants, your finest young men and your donkeys, and put them to his work. He will take 1/10 of your sheep, and you will be his servants. And you will cry out in the day because of your king, whom you have chosen for yourselves, and the Lord will not hear you in that day. So, they had a warning. That was a pretty detailed warning. They know that he's going to take their sons, their daughters, their servants, their land, their crops, everything, plus 1/10 more. This is what I understand. 1/10 of the other things. They're going to take the donkeys, that just everybody. This king is going to set up his government, his castle, and the people are going to allow it. And if they allow it, God is saying, I'm not going to hear you if you cry. If you lament, it's too bad, tough. You chose this. That is my words. But that's what's going to happen. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, no, but we will have a king over us, that we also may be like all the nations, and that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles. So what he's saying is, what they're saying is, we don't care what God said. It's like they just got back in line with God, and now they're rejecting him again. It's like, boom. Just like my power went out. They're rejecting him again. That quick. After God had shown them all that he could do. After God gave them all their land back. After God gave them all of their homes back. Everything God had given back to them. They're rejecting him again. They're refusing his love again. Let's see, where was I at? And Samuel heard all the words of the people, and he repeated them in the hearing of the Lord. So the Lord said to Samuel, heed their voice and make them king. And Samuel said to the men of Israel, every man go to his city. And I wanted to stop there today, which I probably shouldn't have because I've still got some time, which I don't have to keep going, but I didn't even look at my notes again. Samuel's sons were not following God, even though they had a good role model. That's something I did want to bring out. Samuel was a good man of God. He was doing God's service. He was doing what he was supposed to be doing. And his children were great role models, but they still went the wrong way. They still were devious. And the people demanded a king because their leadership was in the dumps. It wasn't that great. Even though, if they really would have thought about it, they should have known that God could change that, because he had changed so much. He had done so many things for them and taken them out of all these horrible places. Even all the way back to Egypt, whenever they came out of there, they knew that God could deliver them, but they still chose something else. Samuel didn't like this, but he went to God about it, and he told him to appoint a king. He told them that people had not rejected Samuel, but had rejected God. Even though the people were warned that the things would not be good with the king, they still wanted one. They still wanted their nation to be as other nations. They still wanted this man to rule over them and to tell them how to live and to tell them what to do and to take all of their livelihoods and all of their things and charge them taxes and do all this stuff that God didn't choose. And that's Noah. I don't even know what that word means. Obsolescence? What does that word mean, y'all? What is my son saying? But he makes me think. What does that mean? It means a process of becoming obsolete or outdated. That makes me, why didn't I know what that meant? I know what obsolete meant. Anyway. But I'm gonna answer him. He's at work. I'm home alone, which is still very strange because I'm not used to it still. Anyway, the people still wanted their kingdom to be the way that other nations were, even though they knew it was going to be terrible. And we know who's going to be the king. We know Saul is going to be the king. We know he was a mess. But we'll be talking about that next week. We'll be starting to talk about Saul. And I think I'm going to do, let's see, chapter 9. Let's see, do I want to do 9 and 10? I think probably 9 and 10. Yeah. I'm going to do chapters 9 and 10 where that he is chosen, anointed, and proclaimed king. That way we'll know. Y'all can go ahead and read ahead if y'all want to, chapters 9 and 10. But the people knew, and that's something I wanted to talk about. There are things that we know sometimes that God is against, but we still do it because it's what everybody else is doing. It may be a little bitty thing. It may be a tiny little thing that it's not that big of a deal, or it doesn't seem like it. But those little bitty things can turn into big things. And we're going to see that life was not that great under Saul. But we do know that the king, it still happened because there was David after Saul, but we're not going to go ahead too much. But anyway, myself, I can't say that I wouldn't do what they did, because I have. I knew what I was doing was wrong. I knew it was against God. I knew who God was and what he was. But I still went against him, and I did my own thing. Now, when I went back to God, whenever I rededicated my life, since then, I have not. Like, there's been things that I found out were, personal conviction. It was something that convicted me, and it may not convict somebody else. It's not like laid out in the Bible, but it was wrong for me because it could lead other places. There are things like that I have turned away from since going back to God. But I knew at one point who God was and everything, but I still went back to the world. And I'm talking about that because if I had not gone back to God now, I wouldn't be where I am now. I don't know where I would be at. I can't predict that. I can't say that because it's not going to happen. There's nothing it's already the past, but there's a Christian song, Slow Fade, I think it is. It tells how you're starting something, a slow process into something else, and then something else, and then something. Yeah, I think I've heard that recently. But yeah, things can just snowball. They just turn into something bigger. And now, since I have rededicated my life, I'm more aware of what God is saying because I'm in the Bible more, which I've got a totally different Bible today. I've not bought a new one, but I decided to get my David Jeremiah Bible out because, one, it's big writing. It's large print, and I didn't want to take my glasses on and off. I think it's the only large print Bible that I have. I think. Jeff's got a large print, but I think this is the only large print that I have. But that's one reason I took it out. But because whenever I'm doing this, I'm looking back and forth. And whenever I'm just studying, it doesn't matter if I have my glasses on because I'm just looking at my Bible and my notebook and stuff. But yeah, if we're not staying in the Word, we're not going to know what God wants for us. And the people, they wanted another leader because their leaders weren't doing what they should have been doing. And they were prodigals, is the way I see it. But then again, like I said, I don't know. Actually, since we're looking up everything else today, prodigal, spending money. Okay, that's not right. Having or giving something on a lavish scale. Oh, is that what a prodigal is? Well, maybe I've been using the word prodigal wrong. One who has returned after an absence. That's what a prodigal is. Okay. That and it's got multiple definitions. One who spends or gives lavishly and foolishly. One who is, and the second one is one who returned after an absence. So yeah. Is prodigal negative, positive, or negative? These usages of prodigal can often mean foolishness. Okay. It's more a positive connotation, it says. Casting crowns, yeah. What does Noah say? Oh, he wants me to look into some stuff for him. But where was I at? Noah confused me. Maybe I was saying I used prodigal wrong because Samuel's sons were not prodigals; they were just bad. Okay, son. Okay. He's thinking about going to school for something, and he wants me to do some research for him. But and he's at work, so it's on his mind while he's working, while he's stocking shelves. He's by himself most of the time. But let me finish up what I think that's about all I wanted to say about the study today. But I did get the word prodigal wrong, which is okay. I learned something else, you know. Whenever your child does go away from the Lord, you want them to be a prodigal then. You want them to come back to the Lord. You want them to come back home, you know. But the people were asking for something that was going to make them miserable. And whenever honestly, if I don't read my Bible regularly, I start getting miserable. Because as I've said before, I think I've said it on here, this is where that I have, I pray, but this is where I hear from God. This is where he drops little things into my mind. He tells me things that I can relate to. Even though these things happened thousands of years ago, some of them, all of them in the Bible happened thousands of years ago. What am I talking about? Anyway, even though these things happened thousands of years ago, we can still relate to the people in the Bible. That's my point. I don't even know. My brain is not functioning right. It's still not functioning right. I keep getting lost. I having brain fog and all that stuff, but I'm trying, and hopefully y'all can forgive that. But we're gonna do 9 and 10 next week. As far as I know, there's nothing happening that should cancel it. There's, as let's see, I don't have any appointments. The only appointment we have this month is tomorrow. That's to get the teeth cleaned. Tomorrow is the 7th. Yes. Okay. So yeah, we don't have any appointments that I know of. Not going anywhere that I know of. So I should be here. There's no reason why I wouldn't be here for next Tuesday's Bible study at 2 Central Time. But if you ever have like a prayer request or something, if you don't want to put it in here or else on a comment on another video or whatever like that, you can always send me an email. My email is it's on my about page, and it's in every single one of my videos. Like the most recent ones in the last few months, it's been in them. I keep my email in there. So if anybody has a prayer request that they don't want public, I put it that way. Or if you need to explain something, about the prayer request or whatever you want to do. And if you want others to pray for you as well, you can put it in the public, on the comments or whatever. But I don't know what else I'm doing today other than cooking dinner in a little while. Noah's going to be home at 5 to eat, so I've got time. It's only 3. Or almost 3. But I hope you guys are enjoying this. I did get a lot from this study this time. I always seem to, I may as well just not say that anymore because I always do. But I don't understand why the power went off. I'll have to get Jeff to figure that out too, if he can. Has a new niece doing? Are you asking me how my niece is doing? Carol, are you talking about Julie Marie or are you talking about something else? I'm confused. Well, Joanne, this time it's in 2 parts because my power went off in the middle. How Julie Marie is doing? She's doing really well. She'll be a year old in just a few days on the 17th. She'll be a year old. She's doing really good. She is not she doesn't have to be on the TPN line as long, and she doesn't she can be free from the tubes for a longer period of time. She's eating new foods by mouth. She does have an aversion to things in her mouth, except her thumb. She likes to chew on it. She's got, is it 5 or 6 teeth? I saw her yesterday too. She just constantly laughing and smiling and just happy as she can be. She is behind on some things like crawling and walking and things because she is almost a year old. Most of the time children that age are crawling, at least crawling, but she's not doing any of that yet. I don't know exactly why, but the doctors are saying things are doing good. They're hoping that she can be off the TPN, which is the main line, that the vein. It goes into her main artery or something like that. I'm not sure. But if you look up TPN, you can understand it more. But they're hoping that she can be off of that by January. And if she is off of that by January, she'll only have the feeding tube. I don't know how long she's going to have the feeding tube, but the feeding tube is not as dangerous as the TPN. The TPN can get an infection and it can be really bad. In fact, she has had an infection there one time, and it was while she was in the hospital whenever she had RSV, but she was already in the hospital. She was already on antibiotics. It cleared up quickly and she's fine. It was a wonderful thing that she was already there, that they caught it so fast and everything was okay, which Her mama checks it every time. I mean, we think that she got the infection while she was in the hospital, but that's the only time she's had to go back since she was released. And she's just so happy and smiling and just always happy. Let's see. I don't know if I've shown y'all the latest picture that I took of her, that I took. There it is. I don't know if I showed y'all this. This was on the 24th of August. There we go. She's sitting up. Oh, I didn't tell y'all that. Don't look at my dry thumb. She's sitting up by herself now. She does fall over a little bit, but she's sitting up now. That it'll clear up a little bit. The picture will. It's not that bright. At least I think. Come on, work. It's not working. It's not that white. Look, okay, it's doing a little bit better. Maybe I gotta turn it the right way. I don't know. See, it's got all the glare. Anyway, she's adorable. She's doing really well. It's not gonna show up. I'm sorry. Yes, she has curls. She's got the brightest blue eyes. Her eyes. Did that picture show her eyes? Where did I put my pictures? I don't know. There they are. I don't know if that picture showed her eyes very well. Where did it go, though? What is happening? My phone was crazy. Yeah, you can see her eyes in that picture a little bit. It's not the best. Like, that picture does not do her eyes justice, and I can't be still. It's blurry. Can you work, phone? Or, there we go. Her eyes are beautiful. Look at her little tooth. You can see her tooth in that one of them. But she's adorable. But she's happy. And her older siblings, Marcus, who's the oldest, he was actually here this weekend. He laid down in the floor with her, playing with her, and his mama sent me a picture of him, which I won't show y'all that because I don't know if he would like it. He is 15 years old, so we're going to not do that. But he laid down on the floor with her, playing with her, and both of them fell asleep. And her siblings, her older siblings, she's going to be spoiled. She's going to be very spoiled because they all give her attention. They all give her love. They all play with her. It's like she's a toy and they're not tired of her. So that's good. But yeah, the thing is though, with her, she's always doing new stuff. So everything's changing all the time. And they looked forward to her getting out of the hospital for so long that they see the miracle that she is. But yeah, she's adorable. She's wonderful. She's doing really well. And she's just constantly laughing and just happy and smiling. She's just content by herself, playing with her toys. And well, she's not by herself much, but she can't be with her siblings, but she's just happy she can be. But as far as I know, everything is doing really well with her. Medically. Everything is actually, I think that some of it may be better than they expected, with the ports and stuff, but she's doing really good. And it makes me happy that she's doing so good. But I'm going to go because I got about an hour before I have to start supper. And I don't have a lot of updates on her because now she's more like the way a normal child is. You know, she's doing things like a normal, like I don't have the medical updates that I did have and all that. I still get, I talk to my sister, but it's pretty much, she slowed down with some of the stuff. But babies do start slowing down about a year old. They don't hit the milestones, all that stuff as often, but yeah, she's definitely got the curly hair, but her daddy has curly hair. Now her mama has straight hair. It's just like super straight. But I'm going to go for today. I do have a video coming out tonight. And I don't even remember. We went to take Marcus home, so it's not much because I just recorded a little bit that I did yesterday. But I will see y'all next time. I hope y'all enjoyed this. And if y'all do have any prayer requests, just leave them in the description. Not description. Y'all can't do that. In the comments, or send me an email. And I will see y'all next time. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And remember, don't take any wooden nickels, and be sweet.